Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to walk you through how I made my Malon cosplay. So for her skirt, in the reference art it actually looks like she's wearing almost an ankle length gathered rectangle skirt, but I personally prefer the look of a circle skirt, and I'm actually going to raise the hemline to my knees just because I think that will give a more flattering shape to my figure. But if you prefer to be more true to the canon, I think a rectangle skirt is probably closer to her design. You just do whatever makes you happy. My skirt's made from 3 yards of light purple linen. To make the circle skirt, you're going to fold your fabric over in fourths, so once hamburger and then once hot dog. Now from the corner that's folded over twice, this corner here, I'm gonna measure down my waist radius, and then I'm going to measure down however long I want the skirt to be. If you've never made a circle skirt before, this is really easy, and I'll post some resources in the description below to help you along. But if you would rather follow my skirt dimensions, this is what I used. And I let my skirt hang overnight just so that the parts on the bias can stretch out and I can even up that hemline. Next, I'm going to cut out my waistband using some of the scrap fabric. So you're going to want your waistband to be however wide you want it. You're going to want to multiply that by 2. And the length of your waistband should be your waist measurement plus seam allowance. So I want my waistband to be 2 inches wide, I think. So we're gonna have to double that so that the front and the back are both 2 inches wide. And then we're gonna have to add an inch to that because we want a little bit extra. So if the fold's here, we want a little bit extra on the underside to flip over so we can stitch and like capture it on the other side. It'll make sense. Just hold on. Trust me on this one. And here's my waistband. So now I'm attaching my waistband to my skirt. This is really easy. You just put the right sides together. I'm using a purple linen, so there isn't a right or wrong side. But if your fabric does have a nicer side, put your nicer sides together. Pin them together along this edge, sew across this edge, and then we're gonna flip over and we're gonna sew up the back. Okay, now I've sewed my waistband onto my skirt, and what we're gonna do next is take it. Okay, so I want it 2 inches thick, right? So I'm gonna fold over, hold on, this is hard to do with one hand. I'm gonna fold over my waistband. It helps if you iron this too, that might help you. You can iron it before you sew it on to make like a visual guide, but okay, so I'm gonna flip it over, and then I'm gonna fold it over like that. And so this is my waistband here. This is the front side of it. Here's that seam we just sewed. And then here's the back side. Okay, and so this extra inch that we have here, so like my seam's here, right? And then I have an extra inch because we cut out 5 inches instead of 4, right? That's because we're gonna flip inside this raw edge. We're gonna fold it inside like that and encase the raw edge inside, but still have enough that it like folds over that seam we made. Goodness, can I hold this with one hand? Okay, so like that, and then we're gonna pin it along like this. We're gonna pin it all around, and then we're gonna sew back in that seam we just made. So this is called stitching in the ditch. Okay, so now that I got the waistband pinned on, it's a little bit easier to explain. So here's the front side of my skirt, right? And this is where we sewed. So I have it pinned over on the back side so that the raw edge is encased within the waistband. So what we're going to do, see, this is the open side still, we haven't sewn this down yet, but we're not going to sew on this side because we don't want 2 sets of stitching on the front. So what we're going to do is, since it's all neatly pinned in place, we're going to go and stitch right in the ditch here of the seam that we've already made, and it's going to catch through onto this back fold here, it's going to end up being like right here. And then we're going to have a nice clean seam on the front. And you won't be able to see it. You'll only see it on the back side. So here's the skirt on me. The waistband's finished, but I'm going to put elastic in it. That's why it looks droopy on me right now. Once the elastic in, it's actually going to sit a little bit higher on my waist. Putting a safety pin on the end of it so it's easier to thread through. I'm just going to thread it through my waistband. So here's where we're at right now. Just ignore the mess back there I need to clean. But anyway, so here's the apron, and here's how it looks in proportion with the skirt. So there's about 3 inches of the skirt peeking out underneath. And yeah, this is the this is the selvage. I'm gonna roll that or cut it off. I don't know, I'm gonna do something. Maybe I'll add a fancy trim. But you won't see this at the end. Don't include this. I'm using a faux suede material. I liked it because it kind of looks like leather. I also really like the underside too, so I might end up using the back side of it. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. But I thought this was prettier than just a basic cotton, and it looked kind of like, you know, materials you would find on the farm. I don't know. It felt like something a farm girl would use. So anyway, you can use a basic cotton. It's cheaper than this material, but I thought it was pretty. By the way, this glitter is not part of this fabric. It was like rubbing up against a glitter fabric in Joann's, so now it's doomed to forever have glitter on it. Now would be the time to finish your edges if your fabric frays. I'm not going to because, well, my fabric isn't fraying, so I'm not worried about it. I just want to show you guys real quick that I made a pattern. I haven't taped it together yet or cut it out, but this is the skirt dimensions that I'm working with. I have a link to this down below if you're interested in having one for yourself. This is my dimensions, but I've included the Illustrator file so you can scale it to your dimensions if you'd like. But I'm gonna tape this together, cut it out, and then I'll be able to paint the pieces on. So I got about a third way through my design, maybe a little more, and I've run out of paint. So I went ahead and ordered another bottle from Amazon, and it's a completely different color. Like, explain to me, like, I know that the sizes are different, but look, it's the exact same. It's Tulip Slick Brown. Tulip Slick Brown. But for some reason, the larger bottle is like the same color as my fabric, and this one is like almost a black brown. Why would you do that? So now I'm working on the shirt. I just got a pre-made shirt from Joann's. It's actually cheaper to buy the DIY shirts that they have than it is to buy like cotton jersey fabric and make a shirt. So I just bought one. And then I made this template for the sleeve embroidery, which is also available, link down below. And I'm going to embroider on this design on the sleeve. I printed out 4 different ones so you can like kind of choose your size. Like if you want to make the dress, there's a big one, but I'm going to use the tiny one for the sleeve. And I also have an embroidery hoop. I started working on Sans, but I guess I'll have to go on hold for now because I need it for my sleeves. Of course, this could just as easily be done in puff paint, fabric paint. I actually bought this because I intended to do it in fabric paint, but I'm a little bit extra and I'm going to embroider. So yeah. I'm very quickly doing a rolled hem along the raw edges of the handkerchief, only because this is linen and it frays very easily. Otherwise I wouldn't even bother. But I'm just doing this very teeny tiny rolled hem. And that is all there is to it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you learned something, if you made something, tag me in it. I want to see what you've made. I hope you're all staying happy and healthy and washing your hands, and till next time.